Are we live? Okay. Good morning. This is the Village Board meeting for Friday, July 11th, 2025. It's 9:01 a.m. This is a special time for this meeting due to the need for quorum to approve the monthly bills and any other pertinent items that need to be approved. We're going to forego the Pledge of Allegiance and the land acknowledgement. Megan, would you take the roll call, please?
Trustee Wojtka, Trustee Banaski, Trustee Mishler,
Here.
Trustee Briggs,
Here.
Mayor Dameratz.
Here. Item number 1 is, can I have a motion by the Village Board to authorize payment of the audited bills? And the bills will be audited at later in the month.
So moved.
By Trustee Mishler,
I guess I have to second.
by Trustee Briggs, sorry. So as I stated in the motion, the bills will be audited as soon as our assigned auditors get back, and they will confirm that everything is in alignment with what we approved today.
I don't mind looking at them before I leave today if you want.
Are they all together, Megan?
Oh, yeah, they're ready.
Okay, if you want to, go ahead.
Sure. I can do that.
And then we'll get one more when Heidi and when Adam come back. All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous. A motion by the village board can I have a motion by the village board to amend the previously approved amount of $60,000 to pay health and dental insurance premiums paid in the month of July to $53,905.96.
So moved.
By Trustee Briggs,
Second.
by Trustee Mishler. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That will carry with 3 votes. Item number 3 is a motion by the village board to authorize the clerk treasurer to pay the health and dental insurance premiums for the month of August for an initial estimated amount not to exceed $60,000, subject to the audit and amending authorization by the village board at their regularly scheduled August meeting.
So moved.
Second.
By Trustee Briggs, second by Trustee Mishler. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That will be 3 for that as well. Item number 4 is a motion by the village board to authorize a special event application for the Fairport Fiber Festival upon final review and authorization by the village manager.
So moved.
By Trustee Mishler,
Second.
by Trustee Briggs. Discussion.
This is the first of that?
This is
This is
the
the first.
application.
Yeah. This is the first fiber event that we've had, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So the first annual fiber event.
Correct.
And I have to say, I really do appreciate the event application coming in on the application. So it's much easier to.
I don't have a site plan or anything to share with you on some of that. They stated they would send it to us once they figured out the people and the vendors and that type of thing, so.
Brian, do you have, or I'll let Emily or Tracy ask any questions that they would like to first.
Just a comment, I think that just the application seemed to be the cart before the horse. Like I don't know if the application had been officially approved by the board. However, so far the application seems to be fine and sufficient for this purpose.
The application was the cart before the horse? Wait, I'm sorry. I just
The
wanna make sure.
application was approved. It was decided that we would not collect any fees that were listed in here, but that staff would use this application to track hours and what was needed. The application fee, which on the form states $150, in our budget it states $50. The $100 that was submitted with this form will be returned because what was approved by the village board in the board meeting for the budget was a $50 application fee. It's in the table of fees.
So there's just an error on the application.
There's an error on the
Yeah, we
application
did.
form.
Well, we had proposed initially 150, which I think it was an error more in the fee schedule that was adopted with the budget.
Okay, I get, just clarify
But
if
it's-
I misunderstood. I thought this was we had talked about the special event application several months ago, and I thought it was just gonna come back before the board before it was put into use, just for official.
And I think we did a couple times. I just want to make sure I recollect, but it was a term of that time because we were getting caught up a lot on just a discussion that we should have been having, just with associated with fees and things like that. So let's just do away with that for now. We can discuss that at a later date. And the only thing we're doing with the application is just documenting what it is, which is more than what you're getting now. Before, it was really us in the back room talking, and just trust us, we have all the details, right? So that's all this is now, is we're documenting
And I agree,
some of the
this
stuff.
is much easier.
It just helps
Yeah.
helps us for us track, it helps for some internal review, helps with the board getting some of those details, because not everything comes in those submittals and that type of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's worked out behind the scenes, right? Because there's always logistical things that happen in details and things like that that have to be addressed. And even after this, should the board approve this, there's still details to be worked out, like, they want to use Lipbridge Lane West for the event, but what does that mean for all the tables and chairs there? What does that mean for a bike detour route? What does that mean for signage? Like, there's just things that aren't in here that have to be worked out.
Yeah, I'm not an event planner, but I can imagine having a very clear, fee schedule available so that planning,
Yeah, yeah.
Your budget would be super helpful. So,
But there's no fees in this application for the
Okay.
event. We
so
took
that
them
has,
out.
that's the piece that still has yet to be determined, the actual fees
From the
for.
board, yeah.
Got it, okay,
Yeah, there's no fees being charged in the application event. There's none even listed in there.
great.
Yep.
And to, more specifically about this event, I think I'm super excited to see how this turns out. It's so different and unique.
Tracy, did you have anything?
Yeah, I, for the Fiber Festival, this seems like an appropriate form, but again, there's so much in the form that hasn't been worked out. There's all sorts of questions in here that hasn't been addressed. So it seems really, if we're using this form to gather information, I'm pretty sure we have all the information on the big three. They've been going on for years and years and
Okay,
years.
we're discussing this particular event.
But
so-
I have, yes, I understand that, but I do have a concern with using this when it's not accurate. Now, suppose they held this event on private property, then they wouldn't have to have any application at all.
Correct.
So again, for the, I think it's appropriate for the Fiber Festival, which is very small, has a 10 by 10 tent, and will fit in that area, asking for very little from the village, 2 barricades. So again, for this festival to go on, I would approve this festival, but not the form in itself.
With respect to this festival's not in there that you wanted, that you'd like to see.
In the form?
Yeah,
Okay,
just so I'm aware.
back when we talked about this initially, there's questions where the village board was going to meet with representatives of the festivals and work collaboratively to come up with a festival permit that meets the needs of the village and meets the needs of the festival. They're experts. They've been throwing these festivals, making sure the form includes things that they need to have included in there. It's not a one-sided agreement. It's a collaborative process where the festival's organizers are experts, and they need things from the village. And I thought we had agreed on setting up meetings to talk about that. working collaboratively to come up with an application that meets the needs for everyone. And again, that hasn't happened.
Okay, we're talking about this particular event. Do you have the information to make a decision on this event?
I was answering the question that Mr. White asked me.
Okay, so we're talking about this particular event.
And I said, yes, we have enough information
Okay.
for this event.
So I'm going to say, let's pause this discussion about what you think about the application, the form itself.
Again,
Because
I was answering his question just
I
then.
understand that, but I'm going to ask you to, he asked, what did you need in here for this event? And you've stated that you have what you need for this event.
Correct.
Okay, then I'm going to pause the discussion right here because, one, there's limited time in this meeting. I have a hard stop at 9:45, as does our staff, so we will lose quorum at 9:45. And if you want to discuss this particular event, that's great, but having a discussion about the particular form is a whole nother topic, and that's later on this if we get to it. So, Emily, do you have any other questions about this?
I am perfectly fine with this event.
Okay.
And I would like to have a further discussion about the form and the fees.
Okay, so I have some questions for you with regard to this event. It appears that this is for fiber vendors to be on public property selling vendors. So they're selling things. That is a commercial entity, is that correct?
I assume so. I mean, I think the application just states 1 10 by 10 tent. I don't, per Pam's comments, she goes, once she understands the vendors that are coming and the population, we'd have a site plan of what that looks like. I don't have that to date.
Okay, we have no site plan, correct?
I don't have anything to date.
And I'm trying to decide from what's on here, are they asking to shut down Liftbridge Lane, the bike lane?
Yes, the
During-
application asks to
From
be
8 until
barricaded.
4 on, what's the date on this? Is this a Saturday?
It's August 16th.
August 16th. So it's a Saturday, which is a busy day of the year for the Canal Trail during the middle of summer. And if I recollect from hearing from multiple discussions over the past 3 years, that the only time that the bike lane is busy is during the summertime. So we're asking to shut down the bike lane for commercial vendors to sell on village property, the public's property. So that's with no fees associated. We're just gonna allow them to do that.
This is right. This is something that a practice that we do for Come Home for the Holidays. There's vendors set up in that Liftbridge Lane West area. This is a practice that has been established.
And it's in
approved.
December, which is not
I understand.
one of the
I'm just-
busiest days of the season.
Just commenting that it is a practice that we have approved.
Right. Will it require that the furniture be moved? Do we know?
I don't know that yet. I would prefer not to have to move all that. There's a lot of furniture, and where do you put it, and that type of thing. But the application does request that the barricade be put on the west side of Liftbridge Lane West to prohibit, I think, bike traffic going through while there's a gathering.
Okay. So, when will those barricades come down? Will they get moved on, will they go up on Friday? Will they go up on Saturday? Will they go up for the weekend?
I would assume that we would place them out there Friday. The event applicant would put them out Saturday morning when
I think I saw that
when
somewhere, too.
that starts, and then they'll remove them and push them off to the side after the event closes, and then we'll pick them up on Monday morning
Okay.
from a logistics standpoint.
I'm just gonna make the suggestion that they consider talking to a private property owner to see if they could put their tent on private property, perhaps the parking lot directly across from Liftbridge Yarns. If they, I would be curious to know if they've had a conversation with the property owner across the street to see if they could utilize private property for this versus public property.
Possibly another solution would, I know moving that heavy Adirondack furniture is not ideal, but possibly moving some of that furniture to make, it sounds like they only need one tent. Making space for the one tent so that the bicycle lane wouldn't have to be shut down. It sounds like the mayor's concerned about that being the piece. I don't seem to have a concern about the sale of items on public property. This is something that we do all the time in this village, so that doesn't
Well,
concern me.
it's one of the reasons that we have fees now for the farmer's market.
Sure.
Because you're not supposed to be utilizing
But the fee
public
schedule hasn't
property
been
for
established.
profit.
That's what we were just saying, that the fee schedule hadn't been established, so it's just making it difficult because we don't know what the fees are.
I guess, I guess if I were planning this festival, I don't know how far into planning I'd go without having approval. So a lot of this information, this would be the first step. Can we do it? And then I think you're gonna get a lot of this information.
That's correct. So, I mean, I felt bad when you made that comment earlier because it's like, you think there's more information should have been included on here. I would agree with you because a lot of these things happen as you start talking about the logistics and the
Right.
nuances of
Right.
these things. It has to happen, but it takes a lot of time to do that, set that up. You got to get all the parties involved. Like, there's a significant process that happens with any of these things. There's a lot of things that just you don't anticipate, right? So you're right. But why go through that process unless I know that you guys are willing to do it? And I think, a future conversation should be, what are some of those benchmarks or thresholds in which you're willing to do certain types of events like this? And if we know we kind of meet that general
And
concept or ideology or whatever those parameters are, then we can say, hey, in theory, this would pass. However, these are some of the conditions and other types of things that if you want to move forward and you really want this to be considered by the village board, you need to be willing to do. Right? We know these things are going to come down the road. Is this something you're willing to entertain? Yes? Okay, fine. Then we'll come before you type of thing. This is, again, the application's never gonna, the whole point of it is just to document what's happening. There's nothing else here. And the fact of the matter is you can't document for every little thing. It's impossible to do that. There's opportunities in these things where if there's supplemental information or other things they want to provide, they can do that. To have an application that's going to be 20 pages long to cover everything would be challenging, right? And you're right, every scenario is different. We don't know what types of interests and events and things that people might want to collaborate on in the future. So it's really challenging to do that, to plan something, a one-size-fits-all type thing. But I appreciate the point, and it's true. And it was a challenge for us when staff met about this initially. We just had some basic questions and stuff like that. It's hard to go down the road without.
yeah, I'm not planning a festival till I know I can actually
It's
do
a
it.
lot, because it's a lot on us, and then they start asking questions, and you go down the rabbit hole, and then we meet, and then it's like, oh, well, what about this? And then it's a lot.
Yeah.
So I understand all that, and but I think in the future when we start having these discussions about how we want to just do these things in general, Fairport's a desirous place to collaborate, do events, those types of things. It'd be nice that staff has some supportive procedures about what are the types of things that would interest you that you would be willing to entertain, right? So that way we're going into these conversations with the applicant in good faith. It's like, hey, in generalities, this is where we stand on these issues. This is where we tend to operate and want to operate and so forth, and you get it. So,
And I guess under special services, I think remove the furniture could have been included there, so who knows? But the other thing that, as I was listening to the mayor speak, I was thinking, for the last 2 years, you've been calling this an event space, and the first event that wants to go there, it's like, well, we can't shut down the bike lane. So I guess I see a little bit of is it really an event space then, if you're not willing to hold events, or only off-season? It just seemed a real contradiction of, this is our new event space, but you really can't use it during the summer or when the canal's open. I mean, I'd never thought of it with restrictions. We've had conversations where people could rent it for parties or rent it for this.
We don't have any renting on it. There's nothing set up for it to rent, correct? There's no fee scheduled for this to rent.
That's up to you guys how you want to handle your property. Utilize it.
I think it just brought up a whole nother thing that needs to be thought about, addressed, and discussed. If you're calling it an event space, but now all of a sudden we have parameters on an event space. Or we can't do it on weekends, or we can't do this.
I just think in general that it doesn't need to be a conversation you need to have collectively. And when I saw this come through, I knew it'd be a conversation, because where do we go with this thing? Right now, there's no parameters for approval. It puts us in a tough spot with these things. I mean, tomorrow, if it's just if we just kind of just leave it alone, which I wouldn't advise, Johnny can come over tomorrow with his 20 friends and kids, say, I'm going to put a food truck there, I'm going to have my birthday party for Johnny, and we're shutting down that space for the weekend for Johnny. You know what I mean? There's no ability to deny these things because there's no parameters in which we do them. You understand that. So it's something just we should talk about how that works, what you do, what are the types of events that you're encouraging, maybe some parameters around that. If not, come up with a schedule or a fee schedule of saying, hey, if you want to remove this from this public asset and utilize it for your own private event or space or gain, this is the structure what it takes for adequate consideration to do that. Otherwise, it's really anyone that wants to do it can do it. And that's where you want to have an equitable process in which these things are analyzed and approved. I don't expect that to happen today, obviously, but it's just something the board should consider and think about for future use.
I was also just thinking, if I were the event planner, I might actually prefer the bike traffic coming through, because then there's more people, people on the ground, people who would potentially see the tent and the festival and the sale of.
You could say walk.
Or walk your
Or
bike or
walking.
something like that.
Yeah.
Because we've been at events where people are riding
Walk.
through our village, celebrations.
Yeah, they do in the summer, you're right.
Yeah, and they drive right through. I've almost been hit by bikes, where it's
Or
awkward.
walk your bike. We need to get signs made up for that anyway, regardless of what even for our own internal stuff.
Right.
We were talking about that this morning, actually.
Do you want to reach out to the organizers?
More than happy to,
Okay.
if this is
And
something you're
just-
willing to, I mean, are there
It
certain
sounds like
things you're
it's important
considering
to the
that?
mayor to have the bike lane remain open. I'm wondering if there's a way to compromise, keep the bike lane open, but still have,
I just want you guys to give me guidance on what you want, we'll make it happen. Tell me if you want to keep it open and you
If
want to
there-
find a way to
I
work
think
that
it's
out. If we
important.
get parameters, say, hey, the bike lane has to stay open, we got to work within the confines of that, we'll work within the confines of that if they really want to do it. Just tell me what you'd like to see.
I
'Cause
would
otherwise
like,
it'll be
yeah, I
going
would
back.
like,
At some point, they
if you
got to
don't
start
mind
organizing
reaching
for this
out
thing.
to the
Sure.
organizers of this and ask them how keeping the bike lane open would affect their festival, if they feel that could continue. And then just reach back out to the board with an answer, and then I think the board can.
So right now, we're in a position where we have to make a determination. We can either table this or we will vote on it. But that's great, but we have to take some action on this because there's a motion open on this right now.
So it sounds like we should table it because you're going to reach out to the organizer.
Yes, but I know they want to do. I'm sorry. I know they want to do this sometime in mid to late August, so I think they want to be able to start planning for this thing and doing whatever. If it's something where you want to have conditions and you authorize me to do that, and I'll communicate with you on what those communications are, you can authorize it under the auspice and condition that the village's standards and desires are met with this process, and we'll work through those things to find a collaborative solution. Otherwise, if we wait another 2 weeks, it might be challenging for the event holder.
I agree with the approval under the conditions of
We make sure that you're,
walking the bikes and clarifying the furniture. But again, I think that would have been specified somewhere, I would hope. Is that good with everybody, once those two conditions are met?
I'm not going to approve this until we see a site plan and that we have those conditions. So because of I would make the suggestion that, and I'd like to know, have they talked to about any private spaces like the parking lot across the street? So that we are not having a commercial festival on public property. And if they've exhausted those, that option, then we can move on to, okay, let's talk about the bike lane. Let's talk about what has to happen with the furniture, because if the furniture has to be moved, that means the DPW has to move the furniture on Friday, and then it'll be the entire weekend with no furniture over there. And then on a Monday, which is a very busy day for the DPW, they will need to find space in their schedule to put the furniture back. So I have those concerns about this particular event and about the impact to the DPW and their schedule and the space for the entire weekend. So we can table this or we can take a vote on it, but I think it's a wise idea to table it until those questions are answered.
The location, I think, it's Liftbridge Yarn is right there. I think that it's important for Liftbridge Yarns to have their fiber festival next to their store, I would imagine. So moving it across the street probably wouldn't be something they would even be interested in doing. I don't know.
Well, until you ask that
depends.
question, you'll never know. So
I'm okay.
here's where we are. The motion is on the table. We can either have a motion to table this or take a vote on this motion.
I'm okay taking a vote on the motion.
Okay. Then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye. And this will not pass at this time. So honestly, I would suggest that the village manager goes back and gets some clarification from them. Because saying that there's a 10 by 10 tent, is it one 10 by 10 tent? Or is it, are vendors going to bring tents?
It says 1 10 by 10 tent.
Okay. So that will take us on to,
May I ask for a point of clarification?
Sure.
Would you mind?
no,
I
not at
I
all.
want to make sure when I leave here that I'm doing what you would. Is there a desire is a motion just to deny the application and write and not move forward, or am I being directed to work with the
I think
event
that
application?
application as it is denied, but if we can get more information, or if the suggestion is said, you could consider putting it right across the street from your store if you can get collaboration with that property owner to utilize a 10 by 10 space, if it's just 10 by 10, or if we can come to an agreement on the bike lane or how a site plan would help. I'm not opposed to bringing it back. It's not dead. I'm not opposed to bringing it back in front of the board again. I just think that the way it is right now, I can't support it. And that's not to say that I don't support the yarn shop or the fiber festival. It's what is available in front of me right now does not allow me to approve this the way it is. So,
And I just want to piggyback on that, that the Fiber Festival and the festival trail that spearheaded by the Liftbridge Yarn Shop and what they've done in the last 2 years is awesome and tremendous, representing the state, creating all these counties coming together. I mean, it has such an awesome positive energy this whole fiber trail was recognized by New York State. It was, they were invited to go to the state fair and present this, and bringing in agriculture and bringing in organic. So the whole movement and momentum that had started right here in our own village is so awesome. So the fact that this particular application hasn't been approved, I just want to, recognize how all the efforts that have gone in and all the benefits that, our entire region, the entire state is benefiting from our little Lithbridge yarns. So,
Ryan, and maybe just learning from this, just for efficiency purposes, perhaps the event form then should indicate that we need a site plan submitted.
States if you have one or
Okay.
you need it, it has that in there, just wasn't provided.
Submitted, okay.
And there's space for extra stuff, and like I said, the form may or may not be perfect. It's just a place of documents that people can submit whatever they want that they think might be pertinent to it for an approval or for a proper review. I mean, there's the opportunities there.
Okay.
It's impossible to know of every little thing based on whatever event may come through here. It's challenging.
Sure. All right, I hope we hear more from them. So I'd
Okay.
like to see this approved.
Thank you.
Okay, that will take us to item number 5. A motion by the village board to renew the sprinkler system testing, inspection, and repair agreement between the Village of Fairport and Johnson Controls through June 30th, 2030, and to authorize Julie M. Domeretz as the mayor to execute the agreement. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
so moved.
By trustee Briggs,
Second,
by trustee Mishler. Any questions?
it's just a renewal, correct?
So I did read through this, and we normally sign like a 5-year contract and just have that done?
We do. They're off a state contract right now, and that's what the state has for their term for this specific vendor. And it always changes, either between Johnson Controls or who's the other one that gets it. It generally veers back and forth every time they go out to do a bid on this for state work.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's pretty standard. We just, anytime you enter into a contract like this, you got to come before the board for it.
Just learning.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Good question.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will carry. Item number 6 is a motion by the village board to appoint Grace Kathleen Ingersoll to the DeLand Hose Company of the Fairport Fire Department.
So moved.
By trustee
Second.
Mishler,
Second.
by trustee Briggs. Just a question, when did you get all of these appointments in?
Yesterday afternoon.
Okay,
That's,
Training next week, so
okay,
we thought the board meeting was Monday.
okay.
This is great. I see several seniors who have graduated this past June, whose names I recognize. And Andrew Gropp is in a lineage of, yep. And then Grace. It's just really neat to see, men and women doing this, young women. So then we only work on volunteers, so this is great.
And it does understand how come we got 5 in one day. I was wondering, what's the difference between a junior member and a non-junior member?
Tell you what, I'm going to ask you to hold that question, and when we get there, ask that question.
Okay.
And that way we'll start moving through these because our time is limited. But I encourage that question, just wait till then. All in favor to appoint Grace Kathleen Ingersoll?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That will carry.
Welcome.
Welcome, Grace Kathleen Ingersoll. Item number 7 is a motion by the village board to appoint Jaden Williams to the protective companies of the Fairport Fire Department.
So moved.
By trustee Mishler,
Second.
by trustee Briggs. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous. Welcome, Jaden Williams, and welcome to the Protectives Fire Company of the Fairport Fire Department. Item number 8 is a motion by the village board to appoint Heath Cottingham to the Protectives Company of the Fairport Fire Department.
So moved.
By trustee Mishler,
Second.
by trustee Briggs. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'll let somebody else say it. Welcome them.
Welcome, Heath. Thank you.
Thank you for being a part of the fire department. Okay, here we go. There's a question with this one. Can I have a motion by the village board to appoint Daryl Dutko as a junior member of the hose company of the Fairport Fire Department?
So moved.
By trustee Mishler,
Second.
by trustee Briggs. Okay, please ask your question, Tracy.
So, good question. So junior members are 16 and up. What the fire department, we had a good meeting with them yesterday. They're trying to bring in some younger talent that might be interested in the fire department, and keeping them there for a while, and seeing if they can get that interest in early before they start to establish their lives and careers and those types of things, to make sure that they know that there's a fire service industry that might avail itself to you. So the point is to do that and bring that interest in early. So they're they're not running into fires at 16, but they're there, they're around it, they're building that camaraderie, they're building that interest and that connection with the youth, and that's the point of it. So it seems to be going well.
Great, public service.
Could you,
We used to have an Explorer post here. Back in the 70s and 80s, our fire department had an Explorer post. People who I went to school with and were members of that pre-18 post. So it's in that vein, I think, as when you have an Explorer post.
and we have two different programs. We have the DeLand Hose Company, and then we have the Protectives Company.
So again, a question. We have the DeLand Hose Company, the Protective Company of the Fire Department. How are those different? Location?
Nope, they're just three different companies that have historically had a presence here. Under New York state law, any volunteer firefighter must belong to a internal company of something like that, is how it works. It's something goes back probably 150 years, when initially how these things were brought on. And ours is just unique because we have a village fire department that is volunteer only. So you see this in a volunteer company where all of a sudden they're established by a historical hose company. And these are ones that were initially operated back in the day here, and you literally join, like, I want to be part of DeLand, I want to be part of this.
And they
would own their
choose.
groups, and they choose.
They choose their-
They're all part of the Fairport Fire Department. It's just an internal structure where they say,
Organizational.
well, we do that. They don't work against or work in factions. It's just something they do, and a lot of it has to do with either pride, lineage, historical significance, the story, whatever makes the member gravitate toward that specific company. Yeah.
Anything else?
That's a
No.
good question.
Okay.
It's just unique to a municipal department. You don't see it that often.
Thanks.
Okay. Then, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That will be unanimous. I'll do the honors. Who would like to welcome Daryl?
Welcome, Daryl.
Item number 10 is a motion by the village board to appoint Andrew Gropp as a junior member of the hose company of the Fairport Fire Department.
So moved.
By trustee Mishler,
Second.
by trustee Briggs. Any questions?
I'm sure his father
All
will
in-
be very proud of him.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That will carry unanimously as well. So the next item that's on this form is a special event application, continued discussion. We reach a hard stop in 6 minutes. I don't know that it's appropriate to try and encompass this discussion right now. If you want to get started and make any comments that you have in the 5 minutes, we also have, I think we will forego announcements and committee reports. So that's up to you.
Can I give one update on the native plant signage?
Sure.
Would that be right? We got the fee schedule from Tanya. It was $300. Amber Bay is contributing $100. I matched Amber's with another 100, and I believe Color Fairport Green is going, I believe, to pick up the difference as of right now. And Tanya has already received the list of plantings and is working on the translations. So this is
And this is for the South Bank?
for the native garden that Canale Park that Color Fairport Green put in a few weeks ago. So that I thought that was exciting.
And it's very exciting. What type of signage? Is it going to be laminated, or is it going to be more permanent, or what?
They're actually already established. They have the signage already out there. The sign right now does not have the native plantings on it. They'll just have to reprint them, and then they fit into a little sleeve.
Okay.
So, and they look great. So yeah, something completed.
That's terrific.
There's a lot of OSED information, but we can share that at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Maybe get together with some of the organizers about the festival permit. This seems to be a wily one.
The parade was fantastic, the 4th of July parade. It was so well attended, and I appreciated the shortened route.
I thought we were also, in our 3 minutes here, what are we going to do with approving this application? Is that just going to get pushed to the 28th?
It is, and the moment we hit send, I'm like, the MRB
All right, so we have to wait till the
thing
28th.
isn't on there. We're working with them behind the scenes, but I wasn't gonna send you a supplemental 5 seconds after we sent you the agenda last night. So, but yeah, they're working on that. And a good note, we finally, this pro-housing community thing is not as simple as it seems like anything. So we finally submitted everything. I think yesterday, the day before, I submitted everything to the state and got the thumbs up. Without the hard review that has to happen, we should be in good shape. So that clears the hurdle for us in the future to avail ourselves to any real estate grant, right? Because the pro-housing community was a part of that.
Yep, that is
Sure.
the first step before you
Yeah.
can apply for any of these grants.
Do you want to ask for a preliminary approval of that? I haven't looked through it yet, but I will, that's up to the board
I
if
mean,
you want to
if
do
you guys
that.
want to do a motion now, you're welcome to, and just.
No, I think we need to have everybody have eyes on it, and at
Okay.
least read it
Okay.
before we approve it.
Okay.
And I had some questions
Sure.
anyway.
Okay.
Great. If you have questions, send them along. And I know Brian and Jana will do their best to answer those.
Well, it
Send-
says there's 2 public engagements to help build the list of what are transformative projects. So I guess, and building the list of transformative projects prior to the application.
Right, so
So-
remember when I sent that, like, that really preliminary email, they were saying, hey, these are just things as we were chatting, you know, in the old office. That, obviously, that's just like John and I just chatting for 5 minutes. The whole point of it is to, when you submit the DR application, it's just, you put some things that are possibilities, right? Doesn't mean that you're going to do them. If you're awarded the DRI, the state likes to come in and help you determine what you're going to do in your community. And that'll be a whole nother, should we do that, whether we do it in-house or externally with a consultant, you'll actually come down and start solidifying which ones really have merit, which ones actually have a true path to move forward. The state with these things, they try to use the DRI as catalyst for economic development, right? So it's not about the $10 million, because $10 million doesn't go very far. They want to take $10 million and turn it into 50, right, or 60, and have private investment to complement the public projects that are happening. And that's when you really start to determine what those projects are and the validity of those things.
But there
to your-
will be
oh, sorry.
engagement prior to sending in the form,
Yes.
not after. we
Yes.
Get the approval.
Yeah, there'll be some engagement.
That was
It won't be a full-on thing, but there'll be some engagement, yes.
not just till you spitball ideas.
Correct.
All right.
Okay, with that, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Then we are adjourned, and thank you for making this special time to get these approved.